Hello and welcome to another episode of First Watch, where we give you the Star Bros' immediate reactions to the latest Star Wars content that we received. And this week we are going to be talking about Chapter 11 of The Mandalorian, The Heiress, which when I saw that title, I don't know what you thought of, Jan, but I personally didn't think of the reveal that we would eventually get. And let's just a reminder for all of our listeners, we are going to talk spoilers. So if you have not seen the episode yet, you have been warned and given about 5 seconds or so to pause. And now we'll say, the Heiress, BO-KATAN, quite the surprise. What do you think, Jan?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect at all. Part of me wondered if Frog Lady was going to go from being the passenger to the heiress. Like,
I
what
thought that
if,
too.
yeah, what if Mando and Frog Lady and the child get to Trask and it turns out that she is some princess or the daughter of some wealthy frog magnate or something, and that Mando would be richly rewarded for his journey, something like that.
Some
My,
wealthy frog magnate. I like that. Just like imagining a frog on the throne. I mean, we
yeah,
know
with
that royalty can get turned into frogs, so why not?
right, just a frog with like a monocle and a top hat and something like that. But uh,
Monocle. Oh,
I,
keep going.
I I think what's been really good about this show in season one and continues to be really good in season two is that even though fans like us obsess and dissect and try to anticipate what's coming next, we keep getting caught off guard. So yeah, I was assuming that it was the heirs could be a lot of different things, but I didn't expect what we got.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it was so much that I was thinking about it all day after I watched it and had to watch it again in the evening. So this is one of the very few where I guess I'm coming in with a second watch. Most of the time I'm only coming in with one. And I've got to say it was one of those that was so gripping and exciting, even though it was only 30 minutes long, 27 minutes long, and actual
Hmm.
runtime. It had me on the edge of my seat the entire time because literally from the first scene, you get to see the burning up ship coming into Trask and into the docking station, and I got a good laugh when I saw it, capsize. But
Hmm.
at the same time, I've grown attached to this ship, this Razor Crest that he's flying around, and I don't want to see it completely destroyed.
No, and I'm the same way. It seems like it's hanging on by a thread, or now it's hanging on by a series of ropes and nets and pulleys and things like that. It flies, but that's about it. I'm not sure how much longer it'll last without a lot of TLC. But yeah, the poor thing's getting beat up pretty badly. But I guess the good news is that Mando and the child keep coming out of every conflict in one piece. Maybe the Razor Crest doesn't, but they're fine. That's I think the important part for me. But yeah, I was shocked
Yeah.
by the length of the episode. I I think the first one was 45 minutes plus. The other one, I think, or chapter 10, I think was a little bit shorter. And then this one was really short and punchy. And that was the one thing that, so I got up really early in the morning and I watched it and I was texting you about it. And I was kind of saying, can I tell you one thing that's not a spoiler? Because I knew you were trying to plan your day and I knew you were trying to find a spot to watch the show. So after you cut off the recap in the beginning and after you cut off the 4 minutes or so of credits, it's only a 27-minute episode. That's like a sitcom. That was unbelievably short, but every second was valuable. Every second was punchy and exciting. Everybody who I think I've talked to is sort of on the edge of their seats the whole time, silently screaming to themselves, freaking out about all the different stuff that we were getting. So it feels like the right length. I'm reminded of a quote. I'll probably butcher it by Emily Dickinson, the famous American poet, and she said that the truth must dazzle gradually, otherwise we'll all be blind. So I think that this
Huh.
is, we're gradually being dazzled. Otherwise, after, if we had an hour of reveals, an hour of twists, an hour of like a sense of what direction we're going in, minds all over the world will be blown.
And
So
that's true
I
for
take
actual truth too.
yes. I think Bryce Dallas Howard and Favreau did a nice job of saying, hey, we're going to pace the show in a certain way. You're going to get one episode a week, and it's built up to this moment. A lot of people said like, this is what we've been waiting for, and it was just so satisfying to kind of go on to Twitter and other social media and see people thrilled with this episode after Egggate and the other things that we won't talk about anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's the past. Yeah, and we still have 5 episodes left. Don't forget. That's the
Oh
great
yeah.
part. we've got a lot more great content, and we know that one of them is going to feature the highly rumored and suspected, speculated, and maybe fans gushed over a lot too. Ahsoka Tano, as we heard at the end, is going to be
Mm-hmm.
coming into some of these episodes, hopefully. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I want to go back to what you said about Bryce Dallas Howard. That was a big surprise for me at the end was who directed it, because it was so well done. I wanted to see which name popped up at the end, and seeing hers was very satisfying because she directed, as everyone might remember, Chapter 4, The Sanctuary
Sanctuary, yeah.
from episode or from season 1, and people really liked that one. It was a little bit of a break from the norm, but revisited the norm by the end and showing that he's on the run and has to continue to be on guard. It was such a well executed episode. I saw a lot of people on Twitter yesterday getting excited and saying, uh, I would love to see Bryce Dallas Howard take Kira and direct a Kira focused movie or series or
Yeah.
something. And then some saying, the Make Solo 2 happen movement, going, what a great duo would the father daughter combo of the Howards directing Solo 2 be. There is some
Yep.
excitement out there given what she's been able to do. They want to see more of what she can give to the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. But dude, let me get your reactions to a couple of things in the episode. So, Sasha Banks, not who we thought she would be. A lot of people thought that maybe she with because in the preview, in the trailer for this season, we see her with this dark cloak and her hood is up and she's sort of in the shadows and she's kind of keeping an eye on Mando and the child. And a lot of people thought, well, maybe she's a dark Jedi, or maybe a Sith, I should say, or maybe she is a character that we've never met before. There's a lot of speculation about who she might be. I didn't hear anybody say, you know what, Sasha Banks is going to be a Mandalorian. I didn't
didn't.
hear that.
I was surprised, and
So,
I was wondering, like, was she wearing it under the hood that she was wearing? Like, they put the hood up, and you think immediately Jedi
mhm,
or Sith, I
yeah.
guess. But you just think cloaked figure must use
Mhm,
the Force. Yeah.
mhm.
So I was a bit surprised. What was your question, though?
So, what was your take on the Mandalorians that we meet in this episode? Katie Sackhoff, I think, is just so perfectly cast as
Yes.
BO-KATAN. But when we meet that trio in that shocking, scary moment where uh, the hover pram has been knocked into this
Oh
pool and
gosh,
swallowed up by this monster,
my anxiety.
and I know, and Mando's been double crossed, and he's been knocked in the pool, and the cage, the bars kind of slide over the top of the pool. And I was telling you, I thought to myself, there's no way he can get himself out of this. So when these three Mandalorians show up, what's your reaction? Are you screaming? Are you running around the house? Are you screaming inside? So what happens?
I'm screaming inside because at that moment I've got kids that are in school and stuff like that, and I had found a way to watch it anyway, despite all that, and needed to contain myself. And plus, I always get told by my wife that when I give a little smirk, that's the most excited face that I'll ever give. Like, I I don't really show excitement the same way that a lot of people do. Um, but
So
I
you
still,
were smirking at this, right?
I was smirking at this, the biggest smirk I've ever given. I was screaming on the inside, and I was
Okay,
excited.
cool.
I was excited when it was revealed that it was Katie Sackhoff for a few reasons. One, I think this is the first time that we've always gone live action to animated and had characters cross over to that side, and it's interesting to see who they cast with the voices and how they take their live action figure and create an animated version of them. But this is going the opposite direction. This is
Yeah,
going animated to live action, and I think they nailed it. They nailed the look of her. They nailed
yeah,
the casting. It was just a lot of good look and feels. And maybe the only big reaction that I had that I was excited about was as soon as she said, "Oh, they said he must be from the Watch," and she explains what the Watch is, right? Which a lot of people have connected to the Death Watch
hmm,
from the Clone Wars, and she's very well familiar with them. Like, she knows the Death Watch intimately, and what this group of people means to the Mandalorian, and she's come a long way. So my hunch is that it is foreshadowing where Din Djarin is, because he's currently with the Watch, as he didn't know, but now we know he is,
hmm,
and he's he's the focal point of this show. He is
Hmm.
he is the Mandalorian that we are following. And so I think this is a bit foreshadowing for him. Say, Bo-Katan has been in your shoes and knows where you're coming from and knows the evolution that you need to go through,
Hmm.
and will be that mentor for you. And he'll have to make that choice. Is he going to follow her, or is he going to stay with the armorer? Or if she ends up putting up a fight, who knows? Because I don't know where the armorer is in all this. So
That's true.
sorry, that was really deep, but that was like all the thoughts that I've had since learning that Bo-Katan was going to be in this.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. I had a lot of the similar reactions where I was kind of quietly jumping out of my seat and freaking out a little bit. And they did a really nice job. Like when she lands on the deck of that ship, the her armor is instantly recognizable. Little details like even like the little blinking light on her headband, stuff like that. Just so well done. But I think you're right. I think this is a pivotal moment for Mando because I was thinking to myself, his search is complete. He's found other Mandalorians, but he doesn't necessarily like what he's found, and he
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily like or understand everything that he's just learned. It all
Mm-hmm.
happens kind of quickly. They tell him a little bit about himself, and it kind of holds up a mirror to him when they tell him about sort of the cultish background that he is really from, when they take off their helmets, things like that. So I think now he is presented for the first time with options as a Mandalorian, where
Yeah.
he's maybe realizing like, okay, well, this has been the way. Is this going to continue to be the way, or
Mhm.
maybe there are other ways?
Well,
But there are things
yeah.
that carry across. But go ahead, dude. Sorry.
No, 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 no. I was gonna say you just kept going on that line. This is the way. She uses that a few times on him,
Hmm.
and he kept
Hmm.
saying, "This is the way. This is the way," and almost in a way to play with him, like to
Yeah.
say, "You think you know the way, but this is the way. What I'm
Yeah.
telling you is the way." And it's like using his own tool against him. And if you notice by the end, he eventually echoes it back.
Yeah.
She says this is the way, and he says this is the way back, which is, I think,
Mm-hmm.
really important in a lot of their culture, is like accepting what the leader who said it uh, is saying and what they're doing. So he's starting to get on board even by the end, and
Yeah.
reconcile with her. So I think there's a lot to be uncovered still with this relationship, this dynamic. I hope we see a lot more of Bo-Katan and explore the relationship within a little bit. Uh, yeah, I think I've said all that I could say. Maybe just with the whole "this is the way" thing. I think that's also Bo-Katan saying, "I have, I thought the way you were thinking is the way, and I've since learned it's not fully the way,
Yeah.
and I've evolved to embrace what it really means. So
Yeah.
I will help you along that path if I can."
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there are some fundamental things that they still agree upon. And maybe she's trying to show him that some of the superficial or surface level things aren't quite as important as he thinks. Like they risk their lives to save him, they risk their lives to save the child. They show up when when they get back to dry land and he's on the dock and he gets surrounded by the bad guys. They show up and they save the day
Warren,
again. And
yeah,
yeah,
yep,
they need something from him, but fundamentally they see it as their duty to serve one of their brothers, and so they come up and show up for him in his time of need.
yep,
But that kind of
twice.
thing is really, yeah, multiple times, and that kind of thing I think is, they both agree, both sides agree that's really important. But superficial stuff like maybe it's fine to just take your helmet off in a restaurant and eat in front of other people. um,
Yeah.
so I think they're showing him that, hey, the fundamental stuff about being a Mandalorian, there's universal things that are really important and matter to us and that we're going to honor. But there are also some other things that are maybe a little bit dogmatic that get in the way of personal growth and get in the way of Bo-Katan's ultimate mission, which is to, be that heiress and get the dark saber and get back.
Well, all of the Mandalorians, that's even the goal of the Watch, as we know, is like trying to
Hmm.
reestablish their kind, and
Hmm.
after the Great Purge. So there's a lot I think that this is foreshadowing to. I can only already see in my head season 4 or something whenever we get to that point. The Mandalorian have regrouped, they've kind of assimilated under one command, and they're reestablishing their home and their people. Like it would be a great thing to see. But
Yep.
and to see the armor and Bo-Katan and Din Djarin come together, it's cool. Uh,
Yeah.
So that's where my mind went to. Uh, Maybe the only other thing that I wanted to make sure we talk about before we get to at least the big question is the heist
Hmm.
itself. I loved it. It was fantastic. I did feel like Din Djarin kind of took a back seat. He was in the background for most of that thing, and it was just the four of them going together. But then he got his moment to shine at the end of it when they were in desperate need, and he took one for the team, took a few
Yep.
bullets for the team, and ran
Yep.
into open fire and showed some bravery there. So, but just watching them to go to town on those stormtroopers was really exhilarating. What about you? What did you think of that?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was saying to you, I felt like it was kind of a Western moment, and that it felt a little bit like a giant sci-fi train heist where they're trying to get up to where the conductor is to take control of the train because they want to steal stuff off of the train.
Yeah,
So there were some Western themes kind of snuck in there for me, but yeah, really good action, really exciting. I thought that it was pretty cool that we got our first glance this season at Moff Gideon,
yep,
and I thought it was kind of bone chilling that the captain of that particular ship was basically told to take it down to prevent the Mandalorians getting away with any of the weapons and stuff on the ship. That
hmm
was kind of a creepy moment when he bites the like electric
cyanide.
suicide pill or
We'll call
whatever it
it
was.
electric cyanide or something.
Electric cyanide. Yep. So all that stuff was pretty crazy. I thought that some of the CGI in this was just fantastic.
Oh
Of
yeah,
the ship like almost careening into the ocean, but like pulling up at the last moment and sailing over the city and stuff. I thought all that stuff was really really exciting and really well done.
yeah, totally agree. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait to watch this one multiple times again.
Yep.
And now we get to the big question. And
Well, do you mind if I mention a couple more things real quick?
oh yeah, sure. I keep getting there before you might have a few things to share. I do that a lot.
That's okay. That's okay. So two things. One, I'm excited for Frog Lady. I'm excited that she made it home. She connected with her husband.
Yeah,
Uh, it's great that they have a little tadpole, and
yeah,
it was really convenient that Mando had somebody he knew who could babysit while they went off on their train heist.
yep,
So it's good to have friends on Trask. And the second thing is, Trask is a really sketchy place, and I don't think I
yeah.
anticipated that when the Frog Lady wanted to get there, and that and Pelimoto was talking about getting there and things like that. I didn't realize that it was, whatever BO-KATAN called it,
Black
a
market
a
something.
black market port planet or something. So
Hmm.
it's basically all kinds of shady stuff happening on Trask, and I guess I didn't expect that. So now I'm worried about the Frog Lady and Frog Husband, and what are they doing on Trask when it seems so dangerous and sketchy. But
Agreed, but
those
then
are
again, where is it safer in the galaxy? And that maybe part that I was more surprised by was I expect that out of Quarrens a little bit. I was a little bit more surprised that Mon Calamari could be part of a little bit of a shady side
yeah,
deal, stuff like that. So
yeah,
that to me was interesting. And maybe they
yep,
fully weren't, but that they appear to be involved.
they sure did. Yeah.
So what else did you have?
Those are the two other things that I wanted to hit on real quick. Just I'm excited for Frog Lady. It was a
Okay.
nice moment when she's reunited with her husband and they're hugging and stuff like that. And a lot of people are
Yes.
looking forward to that. And then the baby Yoda gets left with them to babysit, and it's just like, oh my god, like I'm covering my eyes, like, oh my gosh, is he gonna literally eat the eggs in front of the whole family now?
Oh, I
Um,
know. But
but that
then
turned
by
out
the end,
okay.
yeah, you see them bonding with the tadpole and not wanting to
Yeah,
leave, and then the
he's
great line
bros
of
with the
like,
tadpole.
"I already have too many pets."
Right, right.
Yeah, some great stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to be excited to rewatch this episode. But the big question that I'm left with is
Hmm.
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
What is she doing on Corvus, a planet that
Hmm.
we have not yet heard about? The only
Hmm.
other place I remember hearing Corvus was in Battlefront 2. It's the name of a ship. I don't know what to expect of this forest planet that she's on, why she's there, what's happened to her since everything that's happened to her. She's had such an interesting life. I'm just wondering what state of mind she's in with her relationship with the Force and the Jedi in general, because we know that Luke is out there. Is she gonna go and try to find him, or is she still off doing her own thing? I don't know. So I'm left with just a lot of questions on where Ahsoka is in all this.
Yeah, that's a perfect, I think, question to be asking at this point, because we feel like we know Ahsoka really well, and we feel like we know her story really well, but we don't know where she's at in this particular point in Star Wars history. We don't
Nope.
know what she's thinking, what her life is like, what her opinions are like these days about something as heavy a responsibility as taking in a little baby, potentially future Jedi. So I just don't know what Ahsoka Tano we're going to get. And somebody on Twitter put this really nicely the other day. They said that the Dave Filoni approach is to give you what you wanted in a way that you didn't know you wanted it.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get some version of Ahsoka that is recognizable in some ways, but maybe not recognizable in some other ways, and we're going to love it, is my guess.
I think we're gonna love it. I mean, we've all been so excited about this, but don't expect them to botch it, like you said. Like, they give you what you want at the end of the day, and everybody wants some more Ahsoka and some more Child and Indra. Like, they give you exactly what you want. So it's gonna be exciting. The speculation I have is, she be coming in episode 4? Or are we gonna get another filler episode that'll be more about his journey to eventually find her? Maybe he has to go through a few more tests and we see her at the very end, and then it's all about like Ahsoka in episode 5. Who knows? But we got a lot to still uncover in this season, to eventually get another confrontation with Moff Gideon, and get Cara Dune and Grief Karga back in the picture. So we've got a long ways to go. Buckle in.
Yep, I'm pumped for it. Bring it on.
All right. Well, that has been our first watch of Chapter 11, the Heiress. I never say that right. And I'm excited for whatever we have next. If it is about Ahsoka, I'm wondering what they'll call her, because we've had the passenger, we've had the marshal, we've had the heiress, and what do we have? The nomad, the Jedi. It's not really a Jedi. I don't know. So
she could be living a hermit lifestyle. It could be something like the hermit or something, or the outcast, or the rebel. Like, who knows?
The rebel. Ooh, I like that. There could be so many things, but I think if you see that card flash up on the screen, and it says something like "the" referring to a person, but a title of a person, we'll know who they're talking about probably pretty quickly. And if rumor has it, I believe that Carl Weathers directs this next one.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Somebody told me that last night. So that's confirmed, or that's still a rumor? We're not sure.
Well, I think it's confirmed, but it'll be even more confirmed when we see that title slide at the very end of the show.
Yep. So, well, if it is, I'm extra excited about it.
Totally. So tune in for that. Tune in next week when we release another First Watch about that episode. Thank you, as always, for joining us in our community and discussing Star Wars with us. And never forget, this is the way.
This is the way.